Ninjala is a free-to-play online multiplayer game developed and published by Young Ho Online Entertainment. It was first unveiled at E3 2018 and it was released on June 28, 2020 for the Nintendo Switch. It had 2 online demos which I both participated in, but now the game has officially been released. Is it worth your time or is it just free-to-play garbage? Well, let's find out. Ninjala centers upon a huge tournament being held by the World Ninja Association, which developed Ninja Gum that can be used to allow people with the DNA of a ninja to perform ninjutsu. This game focuses on melee combat using various types of weapons. A match can be played between up to 8 players in either teams or a solo battle royale mode. There's also a rank mode which pairs you up with your level, and free play mode pairs you up with players who just have a random level and are looking for a quick match. Just like Splatoon has the Turf War and the ranked mode. Now the gameplay can be very confusing at first and take a while to understand, but once you get the hang of it, the game becomes really easy, but hard and satisfying to master, as there are many abilities and different strategies that you can use. You can double jump and run along walls to navigate the map. Bubbles can be blown to trigger abilities, such as launching them at opponents at a ranged attack or activating an air dash move. Their moves can be increased by destroying drones that periodically spawn on the map, allowing the player to craft a larger melee weapon when fully charged. This power is called S energy, and you definitely want to accumulate it over time. You can also disguise yourself as a prop on the field, which you can then mix in with other props, and then once someone comes along, you can then unleash your attack. Points are scored primarily by knocking out opponents and also the drones. And an E-Pawn bonus can be scored as part of a KO if the player does so in combination with their abilities. When in combat with another player and you attack at the same time, you will have to go through a rock, paper, scissors like mode called attack priority. You select a direction and then it will match the direction that you decide, but then it will decide which one takes the hit. This sadly doesn't have any strategy to it because it is a random system. Pretty much normal attacks are effective against wide attacks, but ineffective against back attacks. Back attacks are ineffective against normal attacks, but ineffective against wide attacks. And wide attacks are effective against back attacks, but ineffective against normal attacks. So a lot of things to understand, and it doesn't require much skill, and it can be confusing at times. It would have been neat if there was more of a strategic system and you could predict what the player was going to do instead of just guessing and trying to make sure that it works out some way. Now, what I think is pretty cool about the game is that once you're finished a match and you're in second place, it will sort of go through this system and it will give more points to the players that scored the most E-Pawn and that destroyed the most drones. It gives you a sort of second chance to get an even higher place, which I think is pretty neat, but can be annoying in case maybe you're in first place and someone manages to come on top over you, but then again, it makes you want to try harder to keep that first place and get even more points. That way someone isn't able to top you. There are many different types of weapons to choose from, such as the hammer, yo-yo, and even the katana. They each have their own special ability and multiple moves, so it's cool to find your own playstyle, just like the Splatoon series. There are also different kinds of weapons that give you even more unique abilities, such as this really cool speaker hammer that really feels different from the regular other hammers. You press ZR to do the lock on attacks, which can be really satisfying. You press them as much as you want, and they will pretty much play the animation, although you can't really cancel out of the animation. By pressing Y, you will be able to break another player's weapon. And by pressing X, you will be able to unleash your special ability, which does require some skill to unleash and knock out your opponent correctly. For the stages, there are only 2 at the moment, with more to come in the near future. Eagle City is a large map that has a lot of buildings that you can climb on using your wall climbing abilities. And the World Ninja Association is very different, as it is not as large as Eagle City and is way more open, allowing for a less sneaky gameplay style. But it can be a lot more chaotic than the Eagle City map. For characters, you have many to choose from, such as Van, Brecca, and Burton. You can then customize them for your liking, which I think is pretty neat, instead of just having skins like Fortnite. But that also means you can create some weird looking characters by combining different character pieces together. So it's pretty weird, and you can put crazy colors to make any character that you really want. The performance of the game in my case has been really good, clocking in at 60 frames per second. The resolution is great in handheld mode too, which is quite surprising seeing that handheld mode doesn't perform as well as docked mode. Obviously, this may depend on your Wi-Fi connections, but I haven't had any problems this far, except for disconnection errors that you will find a lot. But hopefully the online will continue to get better as time goes on, as this isn't associated with Nintendo Switch Online, which I think is a good thing because it allows you to download the game for free and jump right into the action. Now the graphics are quite similar to the Splatoon style, but I absolutely love the vibe and art style of this game. It definitely is a little bit different from Splatoon, but it definitely has that kid-friendly style that looks super high quality. I also love the music. It's fantastic. There are many different tunes that are really cool. It gets you pumped up and ready for the action. Now, this game is free to play, so what does that mean? Well, the game is free to play, and you can enjoy the modes for as long as you want, so no countdown systems or some kind of currency that allows you to play each round like some other games might do it. You can pretty much just play as long as you want. However, other types of Ninja Gum are only consumed once per battle, meaning that they just only change the color and look of your weapon instead of changing the weapon or abilities. And luckily you get these by winning battles, and you get also other items by winning battles too. Now, the paid stuff comes in the form of cosmetics and items and weapons, which I don't really care about. I mainly care about the gameplay, making sure that really isn't like pay to win, because you can pretty much have a base weapon and still get first place, so it's nothing to do with the weapons and all that kind of stuff. There is a gacha styled bubblegum machine thing that you pretty much put in 100 Jala, which we'll talk about in a bit, and then you'll be able to get 10 different weapons, splashes for the Epon, music, and those kind of objects. But then again, this game is free, so you kind of expect something like that. There is a paid story mode too, and it's pretty cool as it has a full comic, and there will be different chapters, and probably they will focus on different characters. Each chapter does quite cost a bit, so I don't know if they are necessarily worth it due to the fact that they are just separate and not a full campaign. For the price, you might as well just get another game that has even more content. The levels are still pretty cool, even if they take place in the same map as the main game. Jala is the main currency in the game that you require, just like V-Bucks in Fortnite. Some of the prices do seem quite steep, and there's also a Seasons Pass, which does cost the same amount as the story mode, and it pretty much gets you access to different weapons and other customizable abilities and cosmetics, and you do have to go through different missions that you complete while playing the rounds. There are a couple missions that are free and will get you some cheaper cosmetic things, but if you want to go that full route, then you'll have to complete a lot of the missions. So it's pretty much exactly the same as Fortnite in terms of that paid style that they're going for. They definitely took a lot of inspiration from it. I would have preferred this game to be fully paid, but then again, it's not like they restrict you from playing the main game modes. And also, it's not like they're charging $50 per a character and Ninjala anyway, like Mario Kart Tour did. So I guess that's a good thing. This game isn't really fully monetizing itself, where it's just unplayable. And I think that's a really good thing. They're definitely trying to make a quality game, but also giving you the option to buy a lot of different things, while keeping the game easy for anyone to jump in and enjoy. Also, when it comes to playing with friends, you can totally do so. However, it is region locked, so if you have someone in Europe and you want to play North America, it will not work, as they will need a North American Nintendo account. Overall, Ninjala is a really cool game that is really unique. This game is really high quality, with a great music soundtrack, a colorful cast of characters, and a really unique art style. The mechanics can be difficult to learn, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes really easy, but at the same time, hard to master. However, the randomness does ruin some of the strategy, which is quite annoying, and the paid stuff is fun, but probably not worth the price. The online is really good. It does need some improving, but there are a whole bunch of the modes in the game without it being really restrictive. That's why I recommend Ninjala and give it an 8.5 out of 10. So if you're a fan of Splatoon and want a new Switch game to play, especially for free, I definitely recommend giving the game a shot, and it might require some learning and getting used to, but it will definitely feel rewarding once you do. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button to see future content from the channel. Tell me what you think of Ninjala down below. Is it free to play garbage? Are you really enjoying it? Did you buy the story mode? And I will see you guys in the next one.